Hey guys. Sorry. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying those mindfulness breaks. You're making me a little bit emotional with all these comments over here. I really appreciate the positive feedback, guys. Trust me, I appreciate way more than you could ever imagine. Um, this has definitely been a labor of love, and there's been a lot of stuff that happened to get to this point, but I'm glad you're here with us. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Next up, I don't want to talk up too much time because obviously it's not about me. But next up, we got Srikanth, the one man band, who is an amazing, just mad genius of an engineer, as well as most of our other presenters here tonight. But yeah, I'm just gonna let him take it away because honestly, I could say a lot. But Srikanth, man, you have done some super amazing shows by yourself and automated the entire thing using your skills and your knowledge. And also, we've talked offline, and you've also helped the community around your area and built out show flows for them and worked with them as well. I know we just did, you did a recent one recently where you had a bunch of operators running vMix in a room together. I know it's not the talk tonight, but can we talk about that real quick and just kind of what you did with the community there, and then I'll let you take it away. It's all you, brother.
Sure, I have it actually in the end of the keynote actually. Um, so I'm Srikanth. I'm 24 years old and going to be 25 in next month. Um, I'm a third generation AV guy, just like Omar. Um, so, me and my dad run an AV company here in India. We do a lot of medical conferences, uh, purely based medical. But since after COVID, we started doing virtual events, and it is an opportunity for us to take the international market, right? Like we were doing events in the local region, but then suddenly we are like facing abundance of virtual events needs to be produced by professionals and to be handled in a professional way. So yeah, so the virtual events are here to stay. I heard the talk you guys, you and Tyler talked about live events, but um, the virtual events are just here to stay. We're going to be using more of the switches, more media servers inside venues in coming next years. So I'm really excited for that. And let me start my presentation. Yep. So thanks Omar for inviting me to this platform of community. I started watching AV Educate around last year when the first decimeter video came out. Like because I wanted to know how to control the decimeter through the panel itself, because we were using the software all the time and it just wasn't working when we just need to do a quick fix in the frame rate. But yeah, from where it all started. So I started engaging with this community and learned a lot of new things. I learned vMix from this community itself, but I knew it as a software before, but really not got into it. So yeah, so when it comes to one man band, like I'm not saying you should go kick all your employees or like shut them down and then just do with one man band. The one man band is just a phrase, but you are only creating one man workflows to do a quantity of work and then provide quality also. So it's not just one man working in that productions. Okay. So let's get down to virtual events. Like so the before, the conferences used to be a big part of the knowledge professionals ecosystem, where people used to travel long distances to meet others in their industry and listen to the experts, right? And of course the value that generates is benefited for all the stakeholders. But but now virtual events are growing rapidly in both quantity and quality. In-person events will have their own charm, but they can be augmented with the online version that provides a broader reach and experience. So this is the way we can come to a settlement at point where we'll be using a balance of equipment which are used for AV and then broadcast. So I'm really excited for these two industries to be mixing in. So I'm gonna write get into some basic stuff before we get into the technical stuff. So because it solely helps who is someone maybe starting today, like how I started last year. So um, uh, when handling virtual events, we have to determine what is the type of events, or what is our client base actually. So is it there is simple two different ways, like scripted and unscripted. Scripted is mostly like product launches, corporate presentations, government events, etc. And then unscripted is like you have to do a lot of job, because when they mess up, you have to make it professional and good, look good to the audience. So that's the unscripted. Scripted is more easy, but there is also some hiccups when you see a scripted event go into an unscripted way. So yeah. So um like I talked, we can't do one man events with just you, because um, your time is needs to be balanced with your health also. So when you start doing virtual events, you will get maybe one or two events in a day, and you will not be able to take it. So you need a community, or you need some friends who are like minded. So join some community. There is a lot of community in Facebook and WhatsApp. Like you if you just search for AV or whatever field you are in, you'll somehow get to join some community. So do that, and see what others are doing. Like, see, I used to watch the Apple keynotes, or like really professionally produced virtual events, which gives me some sort of inspiration. And then like, oh, I can do this later. Okay, like I can maybe pitch this to a client. So, and then you can't expect a guy you are hiring to do the same thing as you. So as you know, but so you have to share the knowledge which you know, and then they also grow and you also grow. That's benefit for both of them. So collaborate with a lot of your like-minded network. Like I want to give a shout out to Omar and Ed and Chris for making this 1 year of a journey. um, uh, and then a special shout out to Jeff, because when I was starting vmix and then wanted a little help, when he started Zoom Test Kitchen, we collaborated. Like, this is the photo from September. So it was like Zoom Test Kitchen was not that popular, but we used to hang out in the early stages when it's like midnight for me, but it's morning for Jeff. So or it's the other way around. Even Jeff sometimes uh, comes online and helps me around for configuring the vmix and testing out some Zoom stuff. So thank you guys, and let's get down to the main operations. um, when you want to pitch for a client and then do a one man event, you have to choose the right tool for the show. If it is a switcher or if it is a software based encoder, it doesn't matter, but you have to choose the right tool which you can trust, you or your guy can manage everything within the show. So uh, you have to choose which is comfortable for him, but also produces the same quality as you expect or the client expects. So and then do not avoid any single point of failure in your production. Like have backups for everything. Like check your wires, even power. It's a main thing. Have two internet connections. Just the basics thing, which even if for a small event, if it goes down, it spoils your name. So and then design a customized flow for every event. I've seen a lot of vmix or other softwares like Wirecast presets available, so people just download them and then do the show. But I don't recommend that, because you're not getting the full potential of you while doing the show. You're just using the presets. So if you build the show from the scratch, you will know what is wrong when it goes wrong. So you can avoid a lot of mistakes. happening live, and then share the script or technical details with others, which is very important. Even if the client or the if there is an event manager, if you just share a basic things of the technical details, which he can maybe help you, maybe if you are really busy for managing a speaker before it's going live, and you might be getting a reminder from him to record or start the live stream or put in the stream correct stream key. So like that is very important. Like I have one show I have missed a 1 minute of recording, but that is, you can't get it back. So be aware of it and ready to face any obstacles. Like if a speaker or a person who's joining you live is tensed or is not getting a good connection, comfort him or her. Like whatever you need to do at that time, do it right. And then when it comes to any event, you have to design the flow of the event, like fully acquire the requirements from the client, so that you don't run into any like sudden things, like which client expectation was different, and then you delivered it in a different way. So uh, talking properly to the client is very important. And then design an operation checklist so that you don't miss anything. Like I said, now some softwares send you alerts if you're not recording or streaming it out, or if it's having a low volume. But I would recommend you to put a sticker on your monitor or your main monitor that you have to do a checklist, and keep up with it. And yeah, like I said, always have a backup for everything. Even if you should have a backup for yourself, saying that it's a one-man band, but you should technically have a backup for yourself, because if it is a I've done 8 hours or 12 hours long event, and you definitely need to take those breaks. So have a backup for yourself. Don't get overwhelmed even if it's a very small show, like because your name goes down, or the client is at the end of the day unhappy. So so yeah. And then last thing to do is, again, go the checklist created during the show, so that you don't miss any speaker spot or a pre-recorded video to be played at the right time. You might have played it just before the event start, and you might have missed the starting because it might have been in the queue might have been in the middle or and at the end. So yeah. um, so when doing one man's, you just have to schedule calls with individual speakers separately, and it should be done way before the event, and they should be comfortable using the platform, whatever platform you are using to get the speaker feeds from, whether it is uh, Zoom or vMix calls or like WebEx. They have to be comfortable, and you have to be comfortable with using that software. So schedule the calls, and um, uh, let them know how to do certain things if they are not, because we are because during medical conferences or any other events, we might be having speakers of elderly age. So we need to have proper instructions given to them, like even feel free to give advice them on their camera positions or lighting or audio options if required. Like if they don't have a mic, suggest them a mic way before the event, and then run the speaker trials again to make sure the mic is working, and then you're in good hands with the client. So and then run through the script so that they are not left behind. They know what exactly to do. What I used to do is, since I am doing one man, I can't communicate with all the speakers, so I just tell them, you are live when you see yourself on the screen. So so they get the notice beforehand, but I used to give the a 20-minute reminder and then a 10-minute reminder to remind them that we are going live. So it's a good method to follow. And then know about their work setup. So if they don't have a Ethernet connection, or if they are on Wi-Fi, you should be knowing them, because you can tell the client what happened if they lose the connection or something. So like you don't have to say like I don't know to the client when if their connection messes up or their audio goes down. So if you know about the setup, you can come up with the solution for it. So yeah. And then I know just Jay is going to be talking about show calling, but I'm not a professional, but I try to put up some points which are helpful maybe for you guys. So I use Discord uh, or Showflow for comms. It's a very neat way, and it doesn't take much of your expense. So always give reminders, even if it's like 5 minute or 4 minute. I give every after 5 minutes I give every 1 minute count, so that they are concentrated on the event, and uh, they are addressing the audience properly. So the timing is key. Only speaker only talk when there is a necessary to talk. Otherwise avoid talking, because you don't want to get into their personal matters during the live. And then always listen, even if it's a pre-recorded content going on like 45 minutes, let's say, but listen to the talk, because it might hang up, your system might hang up, or anything can happen. So always see the program feed and listen to the audio. And then Omar, do you want to talk anything before we get into the case studies?
No, I think you're good. I think we should keep going.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna show you some case studies which have done a bit of like every case is gonna be different from each other. So let's dive in. So this is my first show, you can call it, with vmix production, but I have done before that a virtual conference with traditional switchers. As we are a AV company, we used to have the switchers, so I was using switchers to do the virtual conferences. But then after vmix and NDI and Dante have grown up, like during that September last year, we were still struggling. Like some companies just use Zoom to go live, and then or some other platforms. So we were in that time of transition from going from a just a video conferencing platform to live, and then using a professional software or switches to go live. So this is what my first show with vmix. The fun fact is I got to learn about vmix call just before the show day. So it was a sudden event, and I was in stress to put it all together, but I managed with me alone working on this show. So it was 6 to 8 speakers live scripted conference, so there was not any troubles. A lot of pre-recorded talks, and then you can see maybe in full screen, you can see it in the left bottom of the TV, that you see the pictures of the speaker. So I gathered, I gave additional attention to the speakers, and then asked them to send their pictures, because if we lose your video feed, we could just swap it with the picture, and it will be all right for the audience. So I took some additional steps. That's where the client encourages you and then gives you more importance. So that is very important. So um, yeah, this is a very basic case study. So for the next event, this was a Southeast Asian conference where it's a similar event, but I kind of gained my skills and came up with some innovative stuff like having green rooms for the speakers where they can talk when the live is going on, when the other presenter is presenting. So uh, it's like different rooms so that they don't need to use the chat always to have a track on what's going on, or is there any changes to be done during the live. So um, yeah, and then we had so for the before event didn't have any we didn't have any presentation laptops running PPTs because it was all pre-recorded, but this one was live fully. So we had some 2-3 laptops lying around doing the presenter, and then we were giving control for the speakers to change the slides and then present the talk. So this is case number 2. And then this is a unscripted conference where you see a lot of medical events, esports, or like press meetings happen. So this is one of a kind. So this is 12 hours for 3 days live, and we we also did a huge change in our production. Like it was Zoom based, whereas the last two ones were vmix call based. It was all easy to control, but this one was Zoom. So we had so you might think when I need to pin like 8 number of people on screen, you might think I need to have at least 2 or 3 people to help me, but I had only one guy who was pinning all the speakers through companion. So this is that picture. So I'm doing the show there on the left, and I had my friend help me around for this. He was using companion and Zoom OSC to pin the right speaker at the right time. So we get a good layout like this, clean feed when it's live. And during these unscripted, you might not have control over all the speakers. It's just like a massive conference. So and we did a panel of 8 or even 10 on screen. So sometimes, so it's you can't control every speaker's mic or do mic checks before the event. So this was a little bit out of control, but we managed to keep it clean. And this was during our peak COVID time, so we had to do social distancing and keep up with the show. So yeah. And the next case is a scripted event. We had this was a US specific event. So I'm from India, so I was running this show during my night. So there were some live DJ sets, and then panel discussions. It was traditional vmix call-ins and a Zoom backup. As so the we had the speakers or people come into Zoom and then go to the vmix call, or have both at the same time if they know what they are doing, because we don't want them to have audio on both sides or mic on and the two platforms. So if they know the technical stuff, we let them keep a backup, or if they don't, we suggest to use only one platform at a time. So we were using Showflow for the first time, and it was really great because I could communicate with my friend who is managing the speakers, helping me during the live time. So but I was also occasionally getting into the DJs because we had a hiccup where we were not getting right audio from them. So we had also a backup audio. So we had a backup plan, so to get the audio through NDI and not through vmix call or the vb cable, virtual audio cable. So both of them failed during the live, so we had to switch to the ndi feed, ndi audio feed only, but the video was running through vmix call, and it was almost synced. So we ran the show clean, so that is very important. Yes, so this is again a medical conference with more of a, you can say, not too high end gear with your servers for your vmix, but then just a Blackmagic atom mini which controls the whole show, and then I had one stream deck to control the layouts, and then so these things come a great addition to your one man thing if you're trying to do it, like adding a midi controller or a stream deck, or having backups of the same control but in a different software. Let's say like you have so I used to have companion, but I used to have companion running on the laptop also, because if in case the stream deck goes down or it's bugged, I can just switch to another software which keeps the show going. So this was having some pre-recorded content and then mostly live panel discussions. So and then we also had so since we are using Zoom, we tried the virtual backgrounds for every speaker. So we designed the backgrounds and then sent it to them, which was really clean and having a professional look, like a press meet, you can say. So yeah, and this decision was made during just before the show, because we had some people having very normal backgrounds like room layouts. So we didn't want to have different kind of lighting, like some people were lighted warm yellow and then some were very cool down in their room. So we had to make some a key a turnkey, and then do a decision on how we're going to match all these backgrounds. So we use Zoom and the show went well. So a bit of different part from what I was doing for a long time. So this is designed for one man esports production. I've seen a lot of people are doing this, but they might use the same software to do. But we use, I think the software is called vmix controller, I assume. So so I designed this layout for a layman. He didn't know anything, but we designed this and then let him control the show on its own. So we just since it is a it's kind of a repetitive event, like so during esports it's intros, ads, and then the game with the casters, and then maybe show the player cams, and then the next game. So it's kind of repetitive than the conference type or event type, which are a different set of speakers or different panels which we come around. So I use OBS Ninja for the 10 player cams. So we showed that. So it's a 5v5 match. So we showed all of the player cams during breaks or during their plays, and then used caster, 2 casters or 3 casters for the traditional vmix call. And we used a lot of GT titles in this, and so that it made the 380 go 97% almost during the show. So like so when you design so if you get around GT titles, you can integrate a lot of stuff from cloud. So you can maybe make an Excel sheet, and then someone else can change the scores or change the player names and create a bracket. A lot of things you can automate, which you don't have to do it during live. So it's just for the operator who can just switch the show and be sure that audio is perfect, and that's it. So we are removing a lot of work which has to be given to the operator and then delegating it to the managers, so that they get to be part of the show. So yeah, and this was the show Omar was talking, and I shared the picture with them. This we did recently. It was mainly 5+1, where 5 had regional languages being broadcasted, and then the one primary hall was English. So we created one man shows, so that we can do quantity like this, and then also provide the same quality as you see for the rest of the events. So it was just easy integration with, but the client had a change at the last minute, where we had to use WebEx for the 5 regional halls for some reason. So we quickly changed up the plan, and then reviewed with all the operators to flow to change to the new flow of the event, because uh, it's gonna change. Like when you use Zoom, and then when you use Teams or some other software for getting in the speakers, the workflow will change. You can't have the same workflow for all the events. So but we had a common workflow, so that everyone can understand. Even if I put if I just swap those guys in any way, they will be knowing the flow of the show, so they can do the show perfectly. So yeah. This is the last case which was very different for me, because I was asymptomatically infected with COVID during this show. So I had to do this. I had to mix this in my home. Since I was getting into AWS and stuff, I could design the show with all NDI audio for the breakouts we had, and still work with the same show without using audio mixer for different audio routing. So we had almost 7 to 8 audio routings alone, like different NDA audio feeds going to and fro. So we had MCs in a separate breakout, DJs in separate breakouts, and panel and ASL sign language people. There were 3 of them. They were in the separate breakout, and we patched audio to and fro to all of them. And it was, some of them were from Zoom, some of them were from vmix calls, and it was a bang of a show. And so for this show, it was not technically one man, but it was the three setups which were one man. So there were 3 people working remotely for this, and we kind of so since there is a list of people which we could categorize, we kind of differentiated ourselves for the show. Like we took panel as one show, we took DJs as one show, and then we took MCs and ASL as one show, so that 3 people could mix, and then a final mix of all the 3 is done and then produced to the live stream. So I had previously shared the workflow in I think one of the weekly meetings of AVHK. So you can watch that if you want to see the whole technical workflow. But this was it. And yeah, I was what I was using. So you can see that I have a MIDI controller as well as companion. I have 2 MIDI controllers, since if one goes down, I can. So I used to patch one MIDI directly to the vmix software. So and then one for center control, and then one for companion, so that if I have any problems with any one of those, I can switch without any tension or any like look around way of doing things. So I can just be concentrated on the show, and talk with my friends who are helping the show to be produced, and that's it. Thank you Omar for this opportunity, and honor to be presenting on AV Educate Summit.
Hey, sir, awesome. Listen, it's funny. You were saying a lot of things that were hitting home to me and Chris. We're actually in two separate locations. Chris is managing a lot of the switching you guys are seeing live, and I'm here managing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff with the chats, the comments, monitoring emails, making sure people are no problems in it. And we are communicating through Discord, through the phones to stay in contact while this is all happening. So as you're talking and talking about stuff, me and Chris are like, oh, yeah, we're doing that right now. Oh, yeah. We were saying, though, what's really impressive here, and by the way, guys, we have a few minutes here. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, please drop them in the chats and I'll bring them up. What I wanted to talk about is that you had this one case study, I think it was 2 or 3, where you had only one person helping you out, right? And he was pinning everybody to the screens, and the final look was amazing. But there's a level of trust that was there. Can you explain a little bit of how you either trained him or got him to the level that you could be kind of hands off and say, hey, I'm managing this, you do your job effectively, essentially, so that I can do my job? What was kind of the process you went on with that?
Yeah. So even I had a backup of companion show file on my PC since I was waiting for the Stream Deck to arrive, so I didn't have the Stream Deck that time. So I was having the same copy of file running in case he does something different. So and then we had companion files open in every PC, every big PCs you see there. So we were having a backup control of everything. So even if everything goes down, even if Zoom OSC goes down, we had some couple of laptops running traditional Zoom so that we can be sure that we are producing a live show, not a disaster.
I like that. Yeah. So super impressive what you always show us and what you can do in the industry. Again, I give a couple more minutes for you guys in the chats here. If you have any questions for him before we go into our mindfulness break and get to our next presenter. What was that?
Did I finish it too short?
No, you're right on time. I just figured since we have you for a few minutes, I'd like to give everybody the opportunity, because I know it's a lot to take in sometimes. And the way you work is so interesting. I love it. I said in the comments here, I love that when we get to see different things with these different presenters, especially you come from India, right? The workflow is different. Not different in what's being used, right? But the way it's being executed is different. And one of the things that you were doing, the last case study that we talked about from the beginning, one of the things I liked about the most was that, me being ex-military, when you have a team, you cross-train your team. And you're able to essentially take your skill sets, you're confident enough to also teach others that skill set, and then give them a platform that, okay, here, I'm going to build this out for you. You're going to run this. I'm confident to do your job effectively, right? Because there's also your name on the line when you do those things. But you did that. I'm assuming the show went great because you did a case study about it. And then in addition to that, you're also there to help them. So if anything happened, there's a quick answer, not just like, hey, here's all this stuff. Good luck. Don't let me look bad, right? Which is what I feel kind of happens sometimes with some of the people in the industry, is that they get put to the fire because we feel that in a sense, like, well, I got, in order for me to test him out, he's got to we got to put his foot to the fire, and it's like, does it really have to be like that? Why can't it be a more mentorship based kind of relationship? Which we'll talk about a little bit more on the next talk with the next presenter coming up. But if no one has any questions, I see the Q&A is blank. I guess I'll let you go, Srikanth. Anything else you want to, any last imparting wisdom you want to give to the community out there before we let you go?
Yeah. So I learned a lot of stuff from these amazing communities, from you guys and the other presenters who are engaging weekly in AV Educate. But sometimes I'm not able to be joining every week because the timing is different. But I'm finally proud to say that I've done live shows in every continent except Antarctica. So yeah, thanks.
I love it. Listen, thanks for being here. I appreciate you so much, especially coming from India. I know we're at opposite sides of the world, so the times are very different right now. So I appreciate you being here and taking your time with us as always. Srikanth, thank you so much for being a part of the summit, man. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me, and the community is also definitely engaged, and it means a lot to them as well.
Thank you.
We'll see you in the next one, brother. So everybody enjoy your mindfulness break.